seeing a lot of posts on Facebook about people with questions cutting the fabric mask with the Silhouette Cameo 4 using the design from the Silhouette Design Store. So I wanted to explain a few things and show you that here today. The first thing I'm going to do is open my design from the store face mask. It's this one right here. And let me go back real quick. If you would like to download this design, it's free, and it is design 317969 in the Silhouette Design Store. Did you know that this little icon right here gave you all the information about the designs in your library? Very cool. Okay, so now that we have this design in the workspace, I am actually using my Cameo Plus because that allows me to get the entire thing in one piece of fabric off of one mat. But if you are using, excuse me, your Cameo, you just go to the design page, make sure you select Cameo, automatic cutting mat, and 12 by 12, or Cameo Plus, whatever you are using. The first thing that seems to confuse people is this size and scale. So the design comes in at 100%, and that is the small size. Let me bring this up here. So you'll see this is the small at 100%. If I want to make the medium or large or even the extra small, whatever, let's say I wanted to make the medium. I'm going to go to the transform panel. Oops, wrong icon, sorry. And I'm going to click on the scale icon. Now, when you do that, you're going to see here you can scale by percentage or numbers here. So if I wanted to make the medium, and it says, let me show you here, it says 110%. I go right here. First, I got to select it all. Let me do that. And I'm going to say 110% and click apply. So now all four pieces are scaled up to 110%. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of this because you don't need this now. And I'm also going to, this right here, the red line is the cut line actually, not the seam allowance. The dotted line is the seam allowance line. So I'm going to get rid of this, and you'll see it says do not cut on these. But I'm going to ungroup each piece and get rid of this text. And also, so for some of the pieces, you have to ungroup it twice. And get rid of this seam allowance line because you're not going to cut those. And I'm going to actually show you what happens if you don't get rid of them. So I'm going to get rid of this, delete that, ungroup again, and get rid of this seam allowance line. I'm going to leave this one alone because I want to show you. Ungroup, and get rid of this and this. Okay, so now we would be ready to send, and I'm deliberately leaving this one as is because I want to explain to you why you need to get rid of it. This is the easiest way. There are other ways you can do it, but you could do cut by line color. But anyway, so in tool 1, I'm going to say no cut because we're going to be cutting with tool 2 and the rotary blade, not tool 1. If you are on a Cameo 3 and or previous model and you want to cut with this cotton print in tool 1, you can do it, but what you need to do is to stabilize your fabric with Material Magic. All right, so because I'm cutting with tool 2 on my Cameo 4, I'm saying no cut. So now I'm going to come down to tool 1, no cut, tool 2, and I was cutting this yesterday, so this automatically popped up. But if it didn't, you would select fabric thin cotton print, and it's not recognizing my machine because it's not turned on. But I'm going to turn it on real quick, and you're going to see that it will show up and be recognized. Okay, so you can see at the bottom, it said connecting, and now it says ready. So I would select, let me try again. We're going to go here, tool 2, no cut tool 1, tool 2, rotary cut, and you're going to see all of these blue lines. Blue lines are what happens with tool number 2. Now, you can see these 3 look like they're going to cut fine, and this one has all this mess. And that's because it is picking up all of the loops and hooks, that's what we call these things, from the seam allowance line and the text. Let me go back here, and we're going to ungroup this one. And now delete the text and the seam allowance line. So with them all selected again, I'm going to go back to the send panel, and now you're going to see all that mess is gone. Now again, these are called loops and hooks if you're cutting with your rotary blade. And what that does is it allows the Cameo 3 to turn or pick up the blade for cutting the fabric in the correct direction. Just like if you were cutting with a handheld rotary blade, you would have to pick it up and move around. Now, there's a couple of tricks here. I find it really important, and actually I'm going to go back to the design page, but I find it really important to stay away from the edges of the fabric. So I'm going to center the page. So what that does is it moves the design away from all the edges, and you have less chance of your rotary blade catching the edge of the fabric when it does the loops and hooks. When it picks up, if your fabric is not away from the edge and secured firmly to the mat, then you have a greater chance of having a mess. It'll catch and it'll grind and it'll mess everything up. I'm also using a Stronghold mat. It's not mandatory to use a Stronghold mat, but if you have one or want to get one, it does give you a little bit better option. And so now at this point, you would be all ready to cut and you would say send. And I just wanted to share this with you because I've seen a lot of confusion about it, and I thought it might help clear it up. And hope this helps. If you have any questions, post below. And I'll also post the links for these mats.